Alright, Shalom. First off, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to my power, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles at Great Millstone who taught this truth. Salutations to you brothers all across the world, you confusion of faith brothers who are continuing to push his word and push the vibration of the Savior of Israel, Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. And this is out of the Daily Mail. It says Merkel calls for creation of a real, true European army and rebuked to Trump after he mocked France, saying they were learning German in Paris in World War II until the U.S. saved them. So, your boy DJ Trump is a proud dude, okay, because what he said is correct. If it wasn't for the United States, France would have got fucked up in the Second World War. But what he doesn't get is he's about to be going against France in this Third World War. You know what I mean? And this army, right, that they're talking about raising up is really gonna bring down the house, so to speak. So to your left, you have that fucking demon, Angela Merkel. And look at her, man. This is somebody who leads a country. Look at her. She just looks slothful. You know? She just looks like shit. I mean, even Macron. Macron is a younger guy, to your right. President of France. But, these devil's horns are showing. And then, of course, you got the man with the plan, dead set in the middle. Your boy, DJ Trump, man. And these three right here, man, these are three very important people, man. Three very important people. Says a German counselor called for EU army in speech to ministers in Strasbourg. Her remarks drew widespread applause, but some boos from the lawmakers. So most of them are with it. They're like, yeah, let's create the army and let's rise up against Babylon. Let's rise up against America. That's essentially what they're doing. All right. It says it comes after Macron put forward the same idea on French television. So he's televising the fact that he wants to create this army. It also comes after President Trump joked that the French were learning German before the U.S. came along and called on leaders to pay their way in NATO. So the article reads, Angela Merkel called for the creation of a real, true European army during a speech to EU ministers on Tuesday in a rebuke to President Trump. Because for the most part, the EU is a diplomatic presence. Yes, there is an army by definition, but it really ain't doing shit, It says the German chancellor also called for a European Security Council that would be responsible for coordinating defense policy across the continent. So they're asking for everybody to really join in, man. They're like, okay, and this is describing, in Revelation how it talks about let's rise up against the great whore, which is Babylon, which is America. It says Merkel spoke out after French President Emmanuel Macron floated the same idea last week, and hours after Donald Trump lambasted him for it on Twitter. In this Twitter, man, the Most High is using this Twitter and this YouTube in order to push his truth and to rile up the nations, man. Because on Twitter, man, they're talking real shit. They're saying, yeah, we're gonna create an army and we're gonna take out America. That's essentially what they're saying. And it says, meanwhile, Trump joked that Parisians were starting to learn German before the U.S. came along and liberated France during the Second World War, and told EU leaders to pay their fair share to NATO. So NATO is like the big bully, and EU is like the little bully, right? And the EU it doesn't have the capabilities to take on NATO. So what they're going to try to do is they're going to try to beef up that military presence, and they're going to try to, essentially go up against America, man. Let's see if we can get this video to play. Normally this website is bullshitting, man. And we'll see if it don't start playing soon. I might just say, forget it. Yeah, man. Okay. In her speech, which was about the future of the EU, Merkel said, what is really important, if we look at the developments of the past year, right? Because the past year has been, 2018, Apostle Tahara Apostle Ramla, the rest of the apostles, they've deemed it the year of prophecy, and that's true. This year has been more important in terms of prophecy shit than just about any year. You know, in the book of Revelations is playing out, definitely, man. The book of Daniel's playing out, the book of Jeremiah's playing out, the book of, Isaiah's playing out, and all these things are coming to pass, all right? Especially within the past year, right? And it says is that we have to work on a vision of one day creating a real, true European army. So she really wants to make the EU go from a diplomatic presence to an actual physical army presence. You know what I mean? And she wants to rise up against Trump. Look, it says, look, if you can see right here, it says France calls for Europe to become an empire to rival China and the U.S., which that's not going to happen. You know what I mean? If anything, France is going to join Europe, right? Create an army, and it's going to be them and China versus the U.S. You see, this is one of the tactics that they're trying to use. They're trying to say that China and the U.S. are going to be allies. That'll never happen. All right. Europe must take our fate into our own hands if we want to protect our community. She said, and that's a goddamn shame, because you go over there to Europe, man, it's a lot of them Ishmaelites wrecking havoc over there. Murder has gone up through the roof. Rape has gone up through the roof. Theft has gone up through the roof. Knife attacks have just, knife attacks have gone through the roof significantly. All these other things. And she says she wants to protect her community. She needs to be protecting her community from the get-go, man. But of course, she, her only reason for existing at this point is to rise up against Babylon. And it says the remark drew widespread applause and a smattering of boos from watching lawmakers. And those boos are coming from the people who understand that this is the start of World War III, man. Macron made the same suggestion last week. All right, when he spoke about Russian aggression and Trump's decision to withdraw from a key Cold War missile pact. All right. So, and if you look in the news, America and Russia have been at odds because they still want to stock up missiles on both sides. And none of these treaties, though they make, treaties and the rest of it, none of it is going to settle, man. We're going to war, period. It says, he said, I believe in the project of a sovereign Europe. We won't protect Europe if we don't decide to have a true European army. We have to have a Europe that can defend itself alone and without only relying on the United States is in a more sovereign manner, right? Because they need America's, precious metals. You need their uranium, oil, gold, just about everything, right? So they're like, they want to break away. It says that last remark angered Trump, who met with Macron on Friday last week and tweeted before the meeting. President Macron of France has just suggested that Europe build its own military in order to protect itself from the U.S., China, and Russia. Right? It's because they're trying to make it seem like the U.S., China, and Russia are buddies, when in fact it's going to be China, Russia, and that European army versus the U.S. It says, very insulting, but perhaps Europe should first pay for its fair share of NATO, which the U.S. subsidizes greatly. And that's why the fuck we keep on, our economy is slipping worse and worse, because we spend all this money on quote-unquote defense, right? And it's really just weapons, man, because we're gearing up for war. The French government insists that Macron meant Europe needs to protect itself from decisions the U.S. makes. Yeah. So if that's the case, why don't they keep the EU as a diplomatic entity? No, they're trying to make it a physical army. It says, such as withdrawing from the missile treaty and not from an invasion, though Trump seems to have interpreted it differently. And Trump knows what time it is because he's wise. And the wisdom of Esau and the wisdom of Amalek, all right, it's high-level wisdom. So Trump knows what time it is, man. And I know he reads the scriptures. Hell, he probably even watched the GMS video or two in his day. I do not doubt it. He knows what time it is. It says, shortly before Merkel spoke, Trump rekindled the feud on Twitter. You see, that's his problem. He don't know how to let shit go, man. His pride is just, it's crazy to think about. It says Macron suggests building its own army to protect Europe against the U.S., China, and Russia. Slovakia, sometimes you gotta pause. The goddamn demons all over the place, man. And that's the thing, man. Satan is gonna try to send as many devices as he can, man. And that's ultimately what this is all about. Sometimes you're making a video and somebody tries to come and distract you, because I was on a good point and I just forgot, and that's why you gotta watch out for Satan's distractions, man. But anyways, it says, but it was Germany in World Wars I and II. How did that work out for France? They were starting to learn German in Paris before the U.S. came along. Pay for NATO or not. So basically, he don't care if they pay for NATO or not, because he knows that they're going to war. It says Trump also bashed Macron for his low approval rating in France and being unfair to the U.S. on trade, right? Because the thing is, France is trying to make the U.S. an enemy to the world, It says the spat marks a major falling out for the two world leaders who had previously shared a friendship, which made Macron Trump's closest ally in Europe. So at first they were friends, and the Lord hardened the heart of those European leaders towards Trump. Alright, Macron and Merkel's comments come against a backdrop in which Trump has questioned the purpose of NATO and stoked fears that America might fail to honor its key common defense clause. See, man, there goes Satan again, man, making the shit offline when I'm connected to the internet. But look, forget it. We're gonna bring them out, man. We're gonna bring it out. And I had beast written in here, and the word beast is actually very common in the Bible. As you can see at the bottom, it said almost 300 matches. So I just went to the most bottom one. I'm going to read a few of these, and I'm going to end the video. It says, Revelation chapter 20, verse 10, and the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are, and shall be tormented day and night forever and ever. So that devil, right, is you so-called white people, right, that have deceived the multitude of the earth, right, and they're going to be cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, which is, those nuclear missiles, where the beast and the false prophet are. All right, so the false prophet really is these churches. They're lying through their goddamn teeth. Because if you ask them about war, they don't know nothing. They don't know nothing about the EU, NATO, none of that. This is Revelation chapter 20, verse 4. And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahushua, and for the word of Yahweh, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. And they lived and reigned with Hamashiach 1,000 years. And what is that 1,000 years? That's when Esau get rounded up and exterminated. Who you call Jesus Christ is going to be there to hand out that 1,000-year ass whipping to you Edomites. This is Revelation chapter 19, verse 20. And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast. Right? So a lot of you people who take the mark, you're going to get fooled. You're going to realize, okay, the devil made me do this, and ultimately I can't be saved, right? But 2/3 of our people have to do that. That's something that has to happen. And it reads, and them that worship his image, right? So that picture of Caesar Borgia, and really the image of the whole beast, this whole system. It says these both were cast alive, right? Alive. Remember, alive. So, they're going to be alive when the nukes go off. These were both cast alive into a lake of fire burning with brimstone, right? So that's those nukes. Okay. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 19, verse 19. And I saw the beast, right, which is those armies, and the kings of the earth, which are the world leaders, and their armies, right, which are all these other armies across the world, gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse. And who's that who sits on the horse? That's Yahushua, man. And it says, and against his army. And who's his army? That 144,000, right? Who are ultimately going to raise up and bring righteousness upon the earth. Okay. This is the last one that I'm gonna do, because this really, well, actually no, I'm gonna do these three. I'm going to start at the top. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 17, verse 13. These have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast, right? So everybody is in one accordance to come up against America, right? So that's what it's talking about, one mind. Everybody is like, okay, fuck America. So they're going to give all their power and all their strength to the beast through what? Money, resources, people, whatever the case is. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 17, verse 16. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, right? Who's the whore? America, aka Babylon. And who are the 10 horns? Those are those nations that are going to rise up against America. And it says, it shall make her desolate and naked. And how is it going to make her desolate and naked? With those missiles. And it says, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. All right, so that's the nukes. This is the last one, and I'm in the video. This is book of Revelation, chapter 17, verse 17. For God hath put, Salakia, for Yahweh hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will. So these guys, Trump, Macron, Merkel, they're doing the will of the Heavenly Father, going up against each other, being bitter rivals. This is what he wants. It's all a play. And in the end, right, the end scene is going to be these nukes. And it says, and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, right? So they're going to say, hey, when it's no longer France, we're just the EU. You know, that's what it's going to come to. Everybody in Europe is going to denounce, you know, their citizenship, and they're going to be under one accord. And that one accord is going to try to go up against Babylon. And it says, give their kingdom unto the beast, right? So they're going to give the EU countless resources, everything that they can to take out America. All hands on deck. Until the words of Yahweh shall be fulfilled. All right. So this is going to happen, and then the Most High is going to basically wage war with this wicked-ass place. And the 144,000 are going to be anointed with that oil. All right, they're going to be the judges upon the earth, and that 1/3 is going to be a governing body also. But first, this war has to come, man, and it's coming, man. It's coming to all these people. Hey, man, this war is not going to tarry. You know, and hell, why not? You know, since I'm living my best life, one more. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 16, verse 10. And the 5th angel poured out his vial upon the seat of the beast, and his kingdom was full of darkness, and they gnawed their tongues for pain. So this is talking about how at one point they're gonna want to turn back. They're going to want to say, hey, we never wanted war with the U.S. Let's just be peaceable. And they're going to be biting their tongue, right? They're going to try to take their words back. But ultimately, this thing is getting started, and it's not going to stop, man. You know, Bahashem HaMashiach Yahushua, man. You know, Barakatham, Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua. For that, you know, for showing the hopeful elect this, and for showing the brothers that can see and that can hear the words, you know. That's what it's all about. It's all about the edification of the elect and the death of these 2/3 in these heathen nations. So with that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakak Kwadash. Shalom to the hopeful elect. and death to that beast system, and death to Babylon. Shalom to the hopeful light.